What's going on, guys? New video, new day. Putting the front end together. So as you've seen before, it's all hanging and painted. I worked on the upper control arms. I pushed in the bushings, so that's good to go on now. And these came in. They ordered. So these are the new adjuster cam bolt things. So that's what I was kind of holding up on. I gotta still thread in the upper ball joints. Otherwise, everything else is kind of ready to go. I can slap it on. I gotta knock off one tie rod, put on the idler arm, a few little things like that. But we're gonna get after it. We're gonna get all set in place, and I can maybe paint the torsion bars. Yeah, oh, it's ready to have a motor in there. But by the end of, what did we today with this video, this thing's gonna be on the ground. I have all new brakes and stuff for it. Showed you all that stuff. You can slap the front end together, suspension, steering, brakes, sway bar. All that'll be on, hook up all the lines. Then we'll probably jack up the back and pull the wheels, do the rear brakes. So I haven't even touched those yet. We can bleed them. This thing will have a braking system. Huh? Alright, let's get after this. Okay, so I jumped ahead just a little bit, well, all the way, and I got the whole front end together. Look at that, we're done. No, so I just wanted to figure out how it was going to go back together and fit and work and all that before I kind of give my 2 cents of how the other side goes. So, nothing's cotter pinned, but everything's kind of tight. Works out pretty good. I don't want the sway bar hooked up yet because if you hook this side up, then that side will be up and in my way. But we got all brand new, all new hardware. Shock's just sitting in there. It's both on the bottom, up top. Brake line's hooked up. We got a new wheel cylinder in, and that's where we left it. So obviously we're not going to use any of the brake junk other than the drum, which I'll clean up. I'm pretty sure it's good. I don't feel any ridge, so that'll be good. We'll pack the wheel bearings. We'll do all that stuff. That's a job for probably tomorrow. I'd like to get the other side done tonight yet. We'll see. The torsion bars are in. Just loose. What else we got? We got, yeah, everything's kind of done there. We got a new idler arm stuff, so it's really coming together. I understand how it works now. Pretty simple. I mean, it's you know, I've done 30 Chevys like this, so it makes a lot of sense. I've done one Dodge, but yeah, so we're all good. We'll set the camera up. We'll get a few lights going. We'll get this all together. There's a little order. I put it together and took it apart once because I definitely has to go together a certain way, and I didn't do that. And maybe it doesn't have to, but it makes it a little easier in my mind. So I'm gonna get set up, get all my tools out. We'll get the camera going, and we'll get this thing banged together real quick here. All right. Well, there's kind of gonna be a lot going on in a hurry, and I was gonna explain everything real quick, show you what I think is the way to do this. Whether it's right or wrong, I couldn't tell you, and then I'll just jam through it. So we have our lower control arm. It just slides through the K-member. There's one nut just holding it. It's loose, right? That's fine. Got the lower ball joint on. I did tighten this and cotter pin because it's a pain to get in there once you have the backing plate and stuff like that on. Our upper control arm. We got this. So this is very simple. It just kind of fits in there. And then we'll put in our bolts. Let's see what I'm doing there. A little more, eh? So this just kind of fits in, only goes in one way. There's a left and a right, I guess I should say that, but if you got that under control. So I bought this brand new set of these kind of cam bolt things. They fit from the inside out. So the bolt goes through and then just the nut is on the outside. And the ones I took out, I did mark. So I can kind of maybe match them up just a little bit and see if we can kind of get the alignment close. Okay, got one in. slapping together. I'm just going to put everything together loose for right now. Okay, so now at this point you have your lower control arm on, your lower ball joint, and your upper. Now, these upper ball joints, they literally are threaded. So I got lucky and they came out no big deal. I've heard sometimes that's not always the case. I'll just clean up. So there's some real like rough threads in the upper control arm. So just kind of put her in there, give her a couple of starter spins. Boot goes on. Now we're gonna end up hitting that, but I think we might have we'll put the spindle on just to kind of hold everything in place. So the spindle is actually very easy. Put it on. Everything's, again, loose, so we're just going to hang it. So that's good. Now, one thing I did learn on this backing plate, once you get to get the wheel cylinder out, it's hard to get those two bolts. So I'm going to put them in before I put it all together, if I can find the piece. So there's the wheel cylinder. It's obviously going to go in something like that. Now, there's a left and a right just because of the way that the brake line is going to shoot out. Obviously, you want it pointing towards the line, which in this case is backwards. And there's just two bolts hold in. So we'll just cinch that down, and then we'll start sandwiching everything together. Okay, so spindle is on. Now the way this all bolts together is you're going to have your backing plate on the outside. These huge honking bolts are going to fit through the backing plate, the spindle, and the lower control arm. That's kind of what holds everything together. It's actually a pretty simple little setup. We just got to kind of get her all lined up a little. That's one. And then it has these giant castle nuts that you will be putting a cotter pin in. So we'll just get both these in loose. There we go. And there are two at the top, just for a little bit of extra safety. So we'll get those in as well. So up next we have this rod, and it's threaded at both ends. This end here is going to go into the lower control arm, and this front part here is going to go into the K-frame. Now it works kind of like a shock absorber, just by design. It obviously doesn't do any sort of shock absorbing, but it has these little bushings, so it'll fit through like that. And then we'll put the once it goes through the K-frame, we'll put this end on and then clamp it. So it's like the top of every shock absorber ever, right? So we'll just kind of feed this through, which is actually kind of a pain. I found on the other side too. Okay, so a slight fast forward. We have the bar in. I was struggling with it. I tightened these bolts up and cotter pinned them, and I put a shock in. Very simple. There's one bolt that goes through and holds it. So that's kind of the gist of it. Up top is what I was talking about, like how the shock absorber works. Same as this front piece. So it just kind of feeds through. It's got those bushings. It had a roll pin on it originally. I don't have any roll pins, so I just put cotter pin in it just for the time being. And yeah, now here's the next part. So the reason, everything's tight, but the upper ball joint is not. Obviously the torsion bar is not even in it, so there's no load on it. We have to thread this ball joint in, which it's got this goofy socket, so it fits on. Now, you guys saw when I was struggling to take it out, I didn't have the spindle on. So as you're trying to go side to side, well, obviously the control arm's going up and down. So this way it'll hold it, and I can put some cranks on it. So let's see what happens. So this is stuff I should probably invest in. I mean, I don't know. I'll probably do another Dodge eventually. This is, so the ratchet's my old man's, 3/4 inch drive, and the socket's actually his buddy's. It's a bit of a funny thing. The other side was way more of a pain coming out and going back in, and I've heard guys they'll weld the ball joints in, like give them a tack or something like that. So I don't know. They tighten up. I don't see why you have to do that. And for foot pounds, it's whatever I got. All right, I think that's good. Now, of course, we've mangled the upper control arm because nothing's tight, but we're good enough there. We can now tighten the ball joint, put a cotter pin in that, and we've taken care of that. So I'll get that squared away, put a nipple in the grease fitting, or for the ball joint if I have one, and then we'll put the tie rod on and sway bar. All right, so we got everything kind of secured down there. Last part, tie rod. So all I do is just kind of put the new one all together, eyeball it. Now what a lot of people do is they'll measure kind of eye to eye and reuse these sleeves, which is fine. These sleeves, I think they were $10 for the pair, and I just think it's, you do it, they're brand new, they look better, and you can absolutely make sure they're pretty darn close. So we'll slap that in there, and then the steering and all that is done. Let's give everything a little double check. And then we got to put the torsion bar in, which was a bit of a trick on that side, so I think I've learned a little bit. I'm hoping I can maybe, you know, show you what I did, and if you have any guidance, let me know. I figured I'd just show you this. Right in there is where the wheel cylinder bolts are, and it's hard to see, but right there is the spindle. So it was a nightmare to get in there. I couldn't get a socket in there. I ended up using like a crow's foot. It was terrible. So yeah, we'll put that on, and then we'll crawl under. We'll slam in that torsion bar. I think we're kind of done. Well, for this section. Kind of lost track of time. Actually, Murr came over. He dropped off some Cokes. It's actually, look at this cold one. He put it in the freezer for me. He's a good guy. It's actually Saturday at like 7:15. We go live streaming 7:30 Central every Saturday. So I was trying to jam, and I just, brain issues. Anyways, I got the other torsion bar in. I don't know. It only fits in one way, and you smash it with a hammer. That's what I did. Everything else is dialed. That's where we're going to leave it for tonight. Tomorrow, we'll tackle all the braking stuff in those boxes. It's brand new. All the springs and hardware. I got brand new shoes. We got a new mast or wheel cylinders already in. New brake hoses. We got the whole meal deal here. We'll pack the bearings and we'll put it all together. And then I think if that goes smoothly, I want to do the rear brakes too. That'll just be, which I did buy e-brake cables too. I'll probably put the e-brake cables in the back, shoes, wheel cylinders. I haven't even pulled the rear wheels, I don't think. Well, I must have. I put those tires on, but I didn't pull the drums to see what the drums look like. Hopefully they're not mangled. The fronts looked okay, and we'll make a judgment call there if it's all going back together or what. But that's it for tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, afternoon. We'll see how the day goes. All right, so it's day 2 of putting the front end back together on this old Satellite. I jumped ahead just a little bit. I took the one drum off the hub, painted it, and I put in some all new wheel studs, because as you guys know, half of this car had a reverse stupid wheel studs. I put all the same ones in. Pretty simple. All you do is you just stack a bunch of washers on there, and then hit it with the impact with a, well, I just use the lug nut backwards, and it'll suck it in there. And I actually gave them all a couple of tack welds just for safety. We'll pack the bearings. This is the only stuff from the brakes we're going to reuse. Star wheel and a few little things like that. Because as you know, I bought that brake replacement spring, basically everything. It does everything, put itself in, which I put on the ground here. Look at that. So it's got all new springs, pins, whatever we need, which is good. And a brand new set of brake shoes. So we're gonna slam her all together and repack the bearings, put the spindle back on, put the drum back on, and I think that's it. Hopefully it'll just go that smoothly. I like to get the wheels back on this thing. We'll bleed the brakes some other time. I just want to get down the ground and get everything kind of cleaned up a little bit, moving around, and we'll carry on to the next one. So let's put some brakes together. All right, well, I get this side all back together. So you got all brand new shoes and master, and dead battery, springs. Everything is good. I repacked the bearings, the grease, put spindle back on. You'll notice I don't have the drum on it. So I gotta either get them measured, and if they pass, great. Otherwise, I gotta buy new ones. So that's a job for tomorrow. Or whenever. I mean, I can put the wheels back on, rolled around like this when I get on the back section. And really, I should probably do that too. Pull the rear wheels off and see what's going on with those. Anyways, so here's what you do. Well, what I did. That's hot. I used torch on it. So spindle, you have your lug nuts to go through. Obviously, something along those lines, and they go through, and it's kind of press fit on the drum. So you can see I just took a die grinder, just to a little bit of the top part. Once it's on the bottom, it was fine, but the top had been slammed or something like that, so it didn't want to come off. Smashed out all the studs with a hammer. They're all on the ground there. It's still a little hot to the touch, but I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'll set up the camera. Basically, like I said, you'll put it through, you'll use washers, zing it up. I put a couple of tack bolts just to hold it, because tack bolts are cheap, and if those start spinning, it's a pain in the ass to deal with. So we'll get that, and we'll just do a little fast motion putting these brakes back together. I think we're going to call it for tonight, and we'll end it there, and we'll deal with the rear brakes and all that stuff tomorrow, next video. Huh? Let's do that. So with the drum all painted up, the spindle, hub, wheel bearing, whatever, it's cool to touch. A couple ugly tack welds on it. I actually, you know, I packed the bearing, put a new seal in it, and I forgot to turn the camera on. But then I thought to myself, Danielle wanted to come out and bug me to do a little bit of crap on her channel, so I still have the outer wheel bearing, which I haven't done yet. So I figure I'll make her packed out with grease, because let's be honest, that's just fun watching. While we wait for her to put her face on, we're gonna slap the brakes together, which was very simple. The kit I got came with everything. The only thing it didn't have was the little spring for the star wheel, I guess for the adjustment or whatever. I gotta say, I don't think I've ever... no, I did on Danny's car, rebuilt the front drum brakes. Front drum brakes are such a terrible thing. But I'm looking for, I guess, front discs off. I guess just later B-bodies are the same. I don't know much about Dodges. I don't have anything. And I'm just putting shoes on. I think they were like 30 bucks. So I'm going to get that instead of wheel cylinders. So we'll get her going. If this thing ends up with a big block in it, it'd be a little scary, but whatever. We'll worry about that down the road. So I'll set the camera up. We'll get these brakes dialed together real quick, and hopefully that time the drum is 100% dry. Danny can do the wheel bearing. We'll tighten that up, put her together, bang the wheels on, and well, actually we had Chinese food for dinner, and I want seconds. All right. Hopefully our lighting and all that's good for you guys. So we have our new shoes. If you look at them, one has more meat than the other. Bob, big on back. So we'll be going that way. Now on the old shoe, this is what we're gonna save. So this little spring, and a little kind of, I don't know, pulley looking thing. This stuff didn't come in a little kit. Maybe it comes in another kit that I was too cheap to buy. But we will be transferring that over to this one. I may be jumping ahead in a few clips on this because it's probably some boring watching. What did I do wrong? Oh, guess I could have them the right way, eh? It's embarrassing. This is not a tutorial. It's me struggling through. Actually, that being said, any of you Dodge guys, I'm doing it wrong. Let me know, because I'm not too bright. Okay, now the other thing I always do, I take a picture of my telephone, so I know how this all works, because I'm not a genius. Hard to believe, right? So we'll start getting this together, and we'll get a spring set up. Oh, I guess I'll show you the kit. The kit came with a bunch of things. Whoops. There's 2 different lengths of these pins. You need the long ones, and some new springs, stuff like that. So we'll jam it all together. I'll show you when it's done. Well, you'll watch me do it in fast motion, which is the way to do it.
Gumming up the works today.
Really? Just, okay.
Okay. Okay, like that.
You don't gotta pull on it until it's, there you go.
Oh, I get it.
Get her there, now crank it.
Oh god, oh god.
You're falling. No.
Okay, no, I got it, I'm gonna do it. I got it.
We need safety glasses and a Kevlar. No, you're not on it. hang on, okay.
Look, there.
Yeah, just like that. No, you gotta, jeez. You gotta crank it like at, like the same, see how the spring is at an angle? You want to like lever it so it's the exact same as the spring.
Like,
I mean, keep your hand away from it so you don't lose a pretty finger.
Like that?
There you go. At that angle. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Oh my god. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, crank that sucker around. Okay, well, maybe I'll just go. Take this. You can show something to the ER nurse when they ask what happened.
I did it!
Alright, so Danielle stepped in.
You're welcome.
So if you want to go watch that debacle, go check her channel out. It was a little scary. But she's on, she's ready to go. She's going to go pack that bearing real quick. We're going to slap the hub back on, put the wheel on, push it in the creek, and we're done for the night.
Okay, well what do I do?
Alright, battery's dying. We're going to try and make this happen with Danny. So grab a scoop of grease.
How much is a scoop?
More than that.
So chunk.
That's good. I'm going to put that on the palm of your left hand.
Gross.
Now what you're going to want to do, so you're going to move this hand. So you take the bearing, you're going to want to kind of, so you're kind of gooshing the grease up in the bottom of it, right?
Okay.
So you kind of get it a little bit and come down with it.
Okay.
Let's do this a little bit. And you see how it's starting to come out the top?
Uh-huh. That's what I want to happen.
So now you do that, then you spin it a little bit and keep doing it. full front end rebuild on a B-body Mopar. I also said all the proper words there. I didn't say Dodge once. The cap on this side for the wheel bearing there was junk, so I'm going to get another one of those. I've lost one of the little clips to hold in the torsion bar, so I got to work on that if I need it. I haven't cranked the torsion bars yet. I was screwing around underneath this thing, and the e-brake cables are mangled. I actually forgot, I cut through, when I was doing the quarter panels, the brake line on this side and the fuel line on that side. The fuel line I could probably fix, just a piece of rubber hose, but the brake line I gotta run a new one, which, whatever, not the end of the world to do that. I got a new brake line for it anyways. I got a seam seal underneath, right at the floor. Man, I did a nice job on that floor, I gotta say. A little toot toot, toot my own horn. But, yeah, that's where you leave this one. Up next, we'll, I gotta clean up here. Just empty boxes. The worst part with throwing empty boxes is you realize how much money you've spent. But, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So we'll get her up in the air, we'll pull the rear wheels, and we'll see what the rear brakes look like. We'll focus on undercoating, seam sealing, the rear brakes, shocks, and e-brake cables. I actually saw one little size of a quarter hole I missed on the inner rocker. So I'll have to weld that up real quick, but it's literally nothing. And yeah, I don't care. We'll just floor away to the back, get that all 100% done. I hate doing stuff under the car. So I'm already beaten, so I might as well beat myself down to a pulp. We'll get that taken care of. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you leave a comment on this video. I'm just winging it, so take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully I did it all right. If I missed something, let me know, because I should probably redo it before we go fast on this thing. Alright. Tell your friends, leave a comment. See you in the next video.